When God was making offensive lines, specifically most recently, that is, if we're talking about the best offensive lines in the NFL, like God made the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line because it's perfect. It's literally perfect from left to right, from top to bottom. You have guys at every level of an NFL career that are all studs. All of them are studs. And I think honestly, after the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, I think a lot of people were kind of wishing that the Chiefs had kind of invested a little bit more, just kind of because, injuries happen, but also at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to be able to predict that kind of a thing. But I will say, like I said, this entire Chiefs offensive line, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. So today we're going to run down, why this Chiefs offensive line is perfect. This is what NFL teams should be this is exactly what they should be trying to build. Because from top to bottom, it does a lot of different things. We're going to run down here the starting five for the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. First, you got Orlando Brown Jr., who they traded for a couple of off seasons ago. Well, last off season. Played over 1,100 snaps for the team last year. Had 7 penalties, allowed 4 sacks, but had a 75.4 PFF grade. A new scheme, new offense, kind of coming over, being more of a pass-heavy offense that is with Patrick Mahomes. I thought he did beautiful. He signed a 1-year, $16 million contract too. And I think he's kind of in line to prove that he deserves a long-term contract with the team. Former third-round pick, I believe, out of Oklahoma, is a guy that I think really deserves a lot of credit for coming into a new offense and playing as well as he did. And then that left guard, you got Joe Thuney, got that massive bag last year with the Chiefs, and I honestly think he really continued proving, that he is absolutely one of the best offensive linemen in this entire NFL, and that's mainly just the guards. But I will say, last year, I was kind of puzzled that they went and traded for him, that went and signed him that 5-year, $80 million contract. But at the end of the day, we did know that was a huge thing that the Chiefs wanted to get better on. So you got your first two guys, a former third-round pick, then you got Joe Thuney, also a former third-round pick out of North Carolina State. So you got two guys right off the bat that are former third-round picks that are starters and playing at a high level. Joe Thuney last year playing pretty much all of the snaps, barely came off the field, if at all. I think over 1,180 snaps, 8 penalties, 1 sack, and 80.5 PFF grade. Then you go to center. I absolutely think that Creed Humphrey might be one of the biggest steals of this draft last year. When we talk about specifically how this man played down the stretch, basically from week 1 going in, like this guy was a stud, absolute stud, a former second-round pick in last year's draft as well. And honestly, coming out of Oklahoma, you were kind of wondering, okay, how is it going to transition to this style of offense with a pass-heavy offense and everything? Didn't miss a beat. Absolutely didn't miss a beat. Literally the same amount of snaps as Joe Thuney. Those two did not come off the field, as well as Trey Smith. We'll get into him in a second. But over 1,180 snaps, 6 penalties, 1 sack, a 91.4 PFF grade. Literally, it doesn't get any better than that on the inside. Like it was beautiful work by a guy like Creed Humphrey and this Chiefs front office that can just apparently find these offensive linemen anywhere. And that's also proof by Trey Smith. Again, we'll get into a second. But honestly, when you have a guy in the middle like Creed Humphrey that just nails everything down, that has everybody playing at their best, you love it. That's exactly why you draft centers high and hope that they can pan out. You want him to be that Creed Humphrey, and I think Humphrey's going to be that guy that's starting in the middle for the Chiefs for a long, long time. Then at right guard, you got Trey Smith out of Tennessee in the 6th round. Baby, you love it. This guy was, he played tackle, I believe, if I remember correct, for Tennessee, but then came in last year. It was just like, this was unfair moving him to guard in the NFL. He's big, he's mean, he's nasty. Was a guy that played over 1,190 snaps for the Chiefs last year. Did have 9 penalties, led the team, but also allowed 4 sacks, had a 72.3 PFF grade. To get him in the 6th round, though, it's only going to go up from here for a guy especially like Trey Smith and his caliber. He's a tremendous player. I think he is exactly like, he is the cookie cutter mold of what you want guards to be in the NFL. Just big, mean, nasty, can pass and run block. I love it. Then you got Lucas Niang, who I think Honestly, I think he was injured a little bit last year, but played a total of 524 snaps, had 3 penalties and allowed 2 sacks, 64.6 PFF grade as well last year. So listen, not everything is going to be perfect, but this is pretty close. Like Lucas Niang, probably, if we're being honest, like you say weakest link, but really, if your weakest link plays as well as Lucas Niang did, you did something absolutely right. So I think when you get to the degree of a guy like Patrick Mahomes and you have this offensive line, it just makes their jobs and everyone's jobs for that matter so much easier. And I just think that this is exactly what NFL teams need to do. It needs to be a mixture of you drafting guys, you signing guys, and you also developing guys. And I think that goes for all this Chiefs offensive line really emphasizes those three big things, because you trade for Orlando Brown Jr., you sign Joe Thuney, you draft Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, and then Lucas Niang. Man, you want to talk about a guy that has really stepped up for this team. You know, I just love it. Top to bottom, this offensive line is top notch. I think it's this is exactly what NFL teams need to do. It needs to be a mixture. Now, would you like all your team to draft all 5 starters and all be studs? Absolutely. But that's just, honestly, that's a few and far between. But overall, this Kansas City Chiefs offensive line is perfect. I love it. I think this is what NFL teams need to do in order to model their offensive lines. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Make sure you guys also leave a comment and a like. We'd greatly appreciate it. All the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. Give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put it in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Kansas City Chiefs having the perfect offensive line.